Good morning. This is a wonderful song that our visiting Reverend has given us today. I just love it. And, whatever we're going through, you got to stay in the fight because God has our back, right? And this is a special shout out to Jen. Nervous there. This is a good one. All right. Staring at a stop sign, watching people drive by, T-Mac on the radio. Got to find nothing's really going right, looking for a ray of hope. Whatever it is you may be going through, I know he's not gonna let it get the best of you. You're an overcomer. Stay in the fight till the final round. You're not going under, 'cause God is holding you right now. Down for a moment, feeling like it's hopeless. That's when he reminds you, you're an overcomer. You're an overcomer. Everybody's been down, hit the bottom, hit the ground. Ooh, you're not alone. Just take a breath, don't forget, hang on to his promises. He wants you to know you're an overcomer. Stay in the fight till the final round. You're not going under, 'cause God is holding you right now. Might be down for a moment, feeling like it's hopeless. That's when he reminds you that you're an overcomer. You're an overcomer. The same man of great I am, the one who overcame death, is living inside of you. Just hold tight, fix your eyes on the one who holds your life. There's nothing he can't do. He's telling you. Take a breath, don't forget, hang on to his promises. You're an overcomer. Stay in the fight till the final round. You're not going under, 'cause God is holding you right now. Down for a moment, feeling like it's hopeless. That's when he reminds you that you're an overcomer. You're an overcomer. You're an overcomer. So don't quit, don't give in. You're an overcomer. Don't quit, don't give in. You're an overcomer. And don't quit, don't give in. You're an overcomer.
To follow. Oh, goodness. This morning we have a special guest speaker. Oops, I better. Yeah. Reverend Lori Souza was introduced to the Unity principles 30 years ago. Since then, she has been Unity spiritual educator, teaching grade school Uniteens, and YOU. She has led Unity women's groups and is the founding member of 2 Unity churches in Arizona, Unity of Divine Love and Unity of Tempe. I think that's how you say it. Lori has twice facilitated the year-long Quest program for personal and spiritual transformation and was part of a 15-year running Unity Mastermind group. She currently serves as a vice president on the board for Unity of Tempe and is an ordained minister from the IMMA Association, which is International Metaphysical Ministers Association. Say that 10 times in a row. Whoa. Lori is a visionary futurist and a teacher at heart. It brings her great joy to be an ambassador of God, with God as her source. So welcome. And today's prayer is actually from the Daily Word. It's on healing. My faith is making me well. Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore's healing journey began when she changed her mind. Inspired by the words of a healing practitioner, she took this affirmation to heart. I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. Very powerful affirmation. After 2 years of persistent health affirming meditation, prayer, and practice, maybe medication too, Myrtle was healed. Her faith made her well. Myrtle Fillmore lived joyously and vigorously for many years after. I take inspiration from this story. I too am a living expression of God. I feel my body's quickening response, and as I claim my inheritance of divine life, I can't say that word, inactive in every cell of my body. Good nutrition, exercise, and rest support my healing practice. My faith is making me well. I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. He said to her, daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your disease. That's Mark 5:34. And I think you're on.
Sing along because you know this song. Right?
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu es l'image de Dieu.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu es l'image de l'amour.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Tu sei la luce di Dio.
I hold you in my heart.
Tu sei il volto dell'amore.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of love. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of
Eres la
God.
luz de Dios.
I hold you in my
Eres
heart.
la cara del amor.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Jesus. Never gonna get this right. That's great. Good morning, everyone. We're just working it out over here. We'll put it right in the middle. My part today is to once again talk about the Q process, which starts on February 21st. February 21st. So anybody who hasn't signed up, that's today. What I decided to do for today is read an excerpt from the pre-practice preparation, because RevMo didn't want me to give too much away of the Q process, so I just thought I chose that. Before beginning these worksheets, it is essential that you take time to connect deeply with the part of you that understands its inherent wholeness. You may already do this often and have a technique that works for you, such as meditation, visualization, or prayer. We call this becoming heart-centered. When you pause to do this, you are able to bypass the old emotional thought patterns that come to mind in the midst of discomfort. Moving from your mind to your heart will allow you to access a deeper level of resources available to you that are centered in your sense of wholeness. If you do not have experience with a practice such as we've described, or such as I've described, we invite you to use a very fast and effective technique developed by the Institute of Heart Math. Thank you.
Oh, God, it's too funny. Okay, let me see. The first part, that was Robert's part. The power for February is strength. The disciple is Andrew. The color is light green, which is on the podium over there. And the area is the lower back. The affirmation is, the strength of my commitment flows through me, energizing and equipping me to complete what is mine to do. That's for February. Donna Farrelly, yay, Donna. Concert fundraiser this Tuesday at 6 p.m., yay. Well, all the proceeds will be going to our sound system, thank you. And the tickets are available today and prior to the concert on Tuesday evening. It should be a lot of fun because we know how Donna sings. Okay, and then the annual meeting is in 2 weeks away on Sunday, February 19th at 11:30. The governing members have been sent an email with items for review that will be covered. Boy, I can't even see. Let me see, and that's all there is for that. Then there's a workshop at Unity, Citrus County that may interest you. Reverend Shad Groveland, Executive Director of Unity Worldwide Ministries, will be leading the Power of Focus ministry on Saturday, March 11th. Please see the posting for information for this rare opportunity. Next is the prayer box. Finally, there is a prayer box in the back of the room on the ledge. You will find prayer slips and pens for your request. After the service today, the prayer slips will be picked up by Chaplain of the Day, Patty Fox. The chaplains will pray over the prayer slips, and then they will be sent to Silent Unity for additional 30 days of prayer. Unity believes in the power of affirmative prayer. When completing the prayer slip, we invite you to affirm what you want more of in your life rather than focusing on the issue. For example, if you're not feeling well, you want to feel better, you might affirm perfect healing and health for your body. And when you feel overwhelmed with too much to do, we might affirm clarity or seeing things in a new light. What we give our attention to is what grows, so we might as well affirm what we do want with less emphasis on problem and situation. There is an opportunity to have a prayer chaplain pray with anyone who will like to after the service. The available chaplains will be up front here in front of the podium wearing purple stoles. Thank you.
Now we're going to get to go into our meditation, and with the song in mind, Overcomer. So put your feet on the ground, quiet your mind. Quieting our mind helps us with the overcoming, and we didn't do it alone. God's always been with us, and will always be with us. As we keep our feet grounded on the earth's surface, take a deep breath in. And breathe out. Settle into becoming heart-centered. This is where the Christ light becomes you. Breathe that in. And hold it, releasing thoughts from the mind. And breathe those out. We can oftentimes get stuck in our head with thoughts, thinking, worrying, wondering what's going to happen. Breathe that out. It serves no purpose. And as you steady your breath, with every breath you bring in, as God's love and light fills you up, reminds you of that Christ light within you. Bring your breath down. You can feel the heat of that Christ light shining within you, reminding you you're always connected to God. And breathe that out. Thank you, God, for giving us this moment so that we can listen to you more and know you more, celebrate your presence within us and around us, surrounding our loved ones, our families, those suffering, surrounding our bodies, our soul, our heart. And with every breath in, we breathe in God's presence. And with every breath out, we release what no longer serves us. We become quiet and still in the knowing that we are never alone. We are always surrounded by the presence of God. we can always tap into that Christ light within us. Become still, go into your heart, releasing the mind of thoughts, becoming more and more present. Feeling the presence, being surrounded by the light and love of this community. All the positive energy that's here in this room today. Breathe that in. And then breathe out anything that no longer serves you. Let's take a moment of silence to really feel that Christ light within us and around us. Thank you, God, for allowing us to find peace in the stillness and the silence, and allowing us to know your presence more and feel your presence around us, through us. As we stop and listen to you daily, we know and understand our connection with you. We are never separated. We are always protected and always connected. Now, maybe move your fingers a little bit. And come back into the room a little bit. Move your arms if you want to. And know that God is here. Thank you.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I
Oops. Hi. I forgot to turn my mic off. You guys probably heard me sing. Hi, I'm so glad to be here today. What a wonderful community. And Monica invited me to come speak. I met Monica 7 years ago. I'm going to go up and down and walk around, so that's kind of my style. But I met her 7 years ago. She was our minister at Unity of Tempe in Arizona, Tempe, Arizona. She was our interim minister. And so we were building this new church, and we had guest speakers every Sunday, and we finally, as a board, made a decision that we needed to have somebody who was going to be there and be our minister. And so Monica stepped up, and it was a beautiful thing to meet her, and you are all so blessed to have her as a minister. She really helped us through a transition and a growth period over in Tempe, Arizona, and was instrumental in what it is today. And your community here, stepping in to this building, even just driving up to the building, like I could feel it. It was, wow, trees and grass. You don't have that in Arizona. But I'm a native Floridian. I was born in St. Pete, and it was the health of my father that brought me back to Florida. So I'm really glad to be back, and I called Monica up and I said, hey, what are you doing? I know you're in Florida now. So it was really good to reconnect with her and to be able to be brought here today. And there are no accidents. We're all brought to where we're supposed to be, when we're supposed to be, where we're supposed to be, when we're there. Right? Have we ever doubted that? Maybe you felt like you know, we're in the wrong place at the wrong time. No, God put you there. God put you there to show up as a beacon of His light. And today we're going to talk about the unity principles, which is the foundation of unity. And my favorite, we're going to bring it all together with unity principle number 5. Because we're at a point in time in this world today where we have to pull it all in, don't we? We have to pull in every tool we have right now. There is a lot of dissonance out there in a world absence of God. Remember, there is God. God is everywhere. But there are some people that have an absence of God in their lives today. So guess who you are? You're the beacon of light. We are the beacon of light. So we're going to talk about unity principle number 5, which is the law of demonstration. That's what One Unity Church calls it, is the law of demonstration. But there are many different words we use. You know, sometimes if you're new to unity, maybe you've heard unity principles in one church be talked with certain words, and unity principles in other churches use other words. So we're going to talk about that today too, and visit how they all really mean the same thing. But what I'm learning to do as I'm in my golden years now, is that less is more. Less words are more. So we're going to look at unity principle number 5, and I'm calling this talk Walk by Faith. And if we were studying unity principle number 1, we would be talking about walking in faith. And that's a Bible, walk in faith. But we're going to walk by faith today, okay? Faith is going to hold us arm by arm. We're going to hold faith's hand, okay? Because sometimes when we're out there in any environment where it's absence of God, we get to show up as that God self and walk by faith, and you're not alone because God's holding your hand. And sometimes it's easier for us to imagine it when we think of it as an outside source, right? Rather than an internal light, which it is. It's both. God is everywhere and in me. So that brings us to our 5 unity principles. And we're going to do a real quick review of the unity principles. Excuse me while I turn around to read them. Let's read them together, shall we? There is only one presence and one power active as the universe and in my life, God the good. Number 2, our essence is of God, therefore we are inherently good. The God essence was fully expressed in Jesus the Christ. 3, we are co-creators with God, creating reality through our thoughts held in mind. 4, through affirmative prayer and meditation, we align our heart-mind with God. And 5, through our thoughts, words, and actions, we live in the truth we know. Now, they're all powerful statements, but we're going to focus on the 5th one, because it brings it all together, whether we know it or not at this moment in time. Through thoughts, words, and actions. Very important, 3 important words there. We live in the truth we know. So what's the truth we know? In unity. God is active and present everywhere, and within me. That's the truth we know, right? That's the practice. So we can say it all we want, but the practice is living it. And that's where Unity 5, Principle 5 comes in. And so this is through thoughts, words, and actions, we live in the truth we know, capital T, truth. We're going to talk about that and expand on that. What is that? What does that mean? Because there's a lot of versions of truth out there, right? But there's only one God, and one power, and one presence. And it's all oneness. So how else can we say unity principle number 5? Well, this is with Unity of Roanoke Valley uses this symbol. I live is their unity principle 5. And when you're teaching some Sunday school with Unity kids, it's God is, I am, I think, I pray, and I live. Those are a quick snapshot, a quick way of teaching unity principles. But unity principle 5 is I live at this church. Now, how about this one? Act. Knowledge is not, this is another version of unity principle 5 through another unity church. Act. Knowledge is not enough. We must live by the principles. How about this one from Unity of Dunedin? Knowing and understanding the laws of life, also called the truth, are not enough. A person must also live the truth that he or she knows. And Unity of Great Lakes region says the law of demonstration, which is very powerful. It's a universal law, the law of demonstration. And we have incorporated that in unity. So action is required when we're demonstrating, right? And today, oh, here we go. Unity of Vero Beach says, it's not enough to know the truth. We must put that truth into action, into our lives. So you see a connection. There's a lot of words there, a lot of different versions, but they're all saying the same thing. And they're all focusing on what? Action and truth. Living in truth and acting on that truth. And the one that I'm going to talk about today is walk the walk. This is another way to say unity principle number 5. Walk the walk, today, here, and now. So we come to church on Sunday to celebrate the presence of God, right? Oh my gosh, and God is here, I can feel it. And the presence and that energy, it's amazing here in this room. And I've been to other unity churches, and I want to tell you, this is very special here. Just the feeling here, this community, the energy that everybody brings here, it's amazing. And never even taking that for granted. The action of that, you have so much power in that. And you get to walk the walk in that as you even leave the room and leave the doors. So here's another one. Thoughts. Through thoughts, words, and actions, we live in the truth we know. So, what did you wake up this morning thinking? Maybe you don't want to think about what you woke up this morning thinking, but it's a good starting point, right? Or what were you thinking yesterday? Or maybe worrying about yesterday? Or maybe somebody did something to really just get you, or said something, and you were affected by it maybe. Okay, so those thoughts, are they your higher self? Are they your God self? Do we tell ourselves those God thoughts? I am positive, I am loved, I'm grateful, I'm supported, I'm connected. So this is part of the unity work, is the affirmation. And I know when I first found unity, I was struggling. I was in a place, I was a young mom. I was 26 years old trying to find a church for my kids and going through a really rough, toxic relationship. And I said, I want to raise my kids in a church. And one of the things that really helped to overcome what I was going through was the positive affirmations. And that's a big process in living positively. So speaking kindly to ourselves when we wake up in the morning, when we read our daily word. The daily word is a great practice. And so those thoughts now will become you. And they do become you. And so whether they're positive or whether they're negative, right? So we get to show up in our higher selves to create the lives that we want in our lives. So our words that we speak, how about our words are speak? Do our words that we speak, are they in line with the thoughts that we have? Maybe you're thinking this over here, but you're saying this over here. Sounds good, doesn't it? Everybody loves to hear that. But the thoughts in our head, when they're aligned with the words that we speak, now there's power in that. And that alignment brings in our God self, our Christ light. So now I'm thinking this, wow, you know what? I think I really do want to be a minister. By the way, I didn't finish telling you the story. So Monica came out 7 years ago and she said, you know, you're so involved in unity. She said, why don't you become a minister? I said, no, I'm a teacher. Okay, well, you know, I've been in unity for so long, and that was 7 years ago. Well, you know what? God just teaches you all kinds of lessons, pushes you around and knocks you down, pulls you this way and that way, until you go, oh, yeah, I'm supposed to, right? Because when God calls you, sometimes we have to be knocked down a little bit and say, oh, that's right. I am working God's work. I am walking in God's truth and living in God's will. And that's a big lesson. Am I aligned with God's will? Are you aligned with God's will or your will? And when you don't have to decide anymore, it's a beautiful thing, right? Because my will and God's will become one. And then we're walking in God's truth. So here I am 7 years later. I'm a minister now, and really happy to be speaking up here today. Actions. Do your actions match your words and your thoughts? Well, the truth that we know is, in God's will, if we can align our thoughts, our words, and our actions, they're like little soldiers. Come on, let's go. We're going to walk in this truth. And so when we can align them all up is unity 5, unity principle number 5, and that is the core foundation to this community here. So it's not, here's what Unity of Vero Beach says, it's not enough to know the truth. We must put that truth into action, right? So when you know something, you go, oh, you know what, yeah, someday, maybe, you know, and that's kind of what I said to Monica. I said, you know, maybe I'll think about it. And then she was only there for a year and gone, right? So put your truth into action. Is there something out there that you're waiting to do or that you're ready to do? And maybe there's a reason you're not doing it. Well, you know that little nudge back here? Whoever's nudging you, you know? In that case, 7 years ago, it was Monica nudging me. She's like, and you're like, nah. That's God. That's God talking to you through somebody, or even through your idea that came in. And so how many of us don't listen? Well, sometimes we have to learn the hard way or be a late bloomer. Any other late bloomers? And yeah, sometimes it takes us a while. We have to, trip a few times, over the same stone before we realize we can move it. So the truth, it's not enough to know the truth. We must put that truth into action. And so what is your truth? And what is God's truth? Are you living your higher self, in your higher self? And in God's truth is your higher self. It's right there, and it's not always something we have to go out and find. We just have to look inside to find it and maybe listen to it a little more. Oh yeah, I was going to write a book about 15 years ago. Anybody has something that maybe they were going to do or dreamt of and didn't do? Well, God's truth, God gives that to you. God gave you that idea. God gave you that path to walk. And we get to walk it, So what is God's truth? What did you tell yourself when you woke up this morning? We already said this. Well, what did you tell yourself about yourself? What about your kids? Anybody wake up saying, oh man, I can't believe he's doing that? I have two sons, 30 and 33. And my younger son says, I just can't believe Jesse lives the way he lives. Just drives me nuts. I can't stand it. He doesn't have a car. He doesn't drive. And you know what? Acceptance is a big piece of living in our truth, right? And how many of you have kids or family members, maybe they're doing something you're like, gosh, I wish they had God in their lives. Or maybe I should go tell them to put God in their lives. Guess what? I have Emily Cady. She says it so well. This is one of my favorite books, Lessons in Truth. And Emily Cady says this: the moment any man really comes to recognize that which is absolute fact, namely that one in spirit, even the Father, being made manifest in the Son, ever lives at the center of all human beings, he will then and can cease forever from any undue anxiety about bringing others into the same internal fold that he is in. What does that mean? That means as long as you're walking in your truth, and you're demonstrating that Christ light, that higher self, I don't have to go out there and force another person to bring it into their life. I can't. I don't have any control over that. But I can demonstrate my life and walk in my truth and how my life is today through the law of demonstration, through the unity principles, by walking in the truth in my higher self, right? And so I said to my younger son, I said, you know what? He has an easy life. He doesn't have to pay car insurance. He walks to work. He walks to the grocery store. And now he has more time to walk his dog wherever he goes to. And so my younger son hasn't seen it quite that way yet. There's a little judgment there. Oh, he's a loser. He doesn't have a car. And so I said, so really, it's a different perspective. We all have different perspectives. What do we tell ourselves about our kids who text? And now my niece has never called me back, and it's been 2 months. Now, I could go into judgment about that, that the right way would be to get a voicemail. Set up your voicemail. Kids these days don't have voicemail. A lot of people don't have voicemail anymore, right? And I guess I'm old school. I like voicemail. But, 35 and under, not so much. It's not really a useful tool. I don't know why. See, now I could go into judgment. Oh, I don't know why. But, I love to hear her voice when she calls me back. But when I look at her perspective is, she's a young mom. In this world today, there's so many demands. She has to reply to Facebook. She has to reply to Instagram. She has to reply to text message and TikTok and email. So there's nothing wrong with that. That's her perspective. I'm busy. Yeah, I love you. Okay. And my perspective is, I want to hear your voice. I want to know how you're really doing. So we get to tap into that power and strength that we have through the law of demonstration and put out there for our kids what it is that we want for them, what it is that we see them doing. We get to put out there and be that beacon to share with them the possibilities with God in our lives, the possibilities that show up, and the things that we overcame with God in our lives. We didn't do it alone. God was with us every step of the way. We called on God, and God shows up. And so now with our kids, you know, there's a big difference in the younger generation because of all the technology. And so it's really easy for us to go into that not understanding their point of view because of the technology. It can be overwhelming. I mean, here's an example. Hey, you know what? I left you a message on Facebook telling you that I left you a voicemail, and the voicemail said I sent you an email that I called you because I put a video on TikTok. I mean, I just really like the answering machine. That's it. I can call, check my messages when I get home from work. It was so much simpler, wasn't it? Oh boy, but then we think back and say, oh, well, this is what our parents or our grandparents thought of when the Beatles came out, right? Okay, so every generation has differences, right? So we need to share the God's truth with our kids. And you know what? We can't force God in anybody's life, but we can show up as God. We can demonstrate what a difference in our lives God has made and speak on it and be a beacon, because more than ever, our world needs leaders, and our world needs people to step up and share where the strength and the power and the energy comes from, who our source is, or what our source is. Right here, the Christ light within us. We just get to tap into it. So here's an interesting thought. You're the only one who believes the thoughts in your head are true. Nobody else believes it's true unless you share them with everybody. And if that's your truth, you'll speak it, right? So now, living in the silence, meditating, connecting with God, we get to actually connect with our higher selves, the highest version of ourselves, because none of you here in this room are the same person you were 15 years ago. None of you are the same person you were 30 years ago, right? We've all changed. Whether you've realized it or not, maybe one day we're looking about, wow, I changed. But the thoughts in our head, you're the only one thinking them. But what is God's truth? God's word. Are we speaking God's words out there? Are we sharing God's words? And so that's when we show up in God's truth, and we're walking in our truth by speaking the word of God. So aligning with God's truth is very fundamental for Unity Principle 5, very fundamental. Now, I do have a few things from the Bible that I'm going to share with you. God's word is God's truth. So when you know we're going to share and walk in Christ's light, we're going to walk in the glory and the grace of God. In Revelations, I can't read that way, I'm going to go over here. It says, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come to him and eat with him, and he with me." And so this is beautiful. And this is something that maybe our younger generation or our kids or our grandkids don't really understand this yet. But we get to demonstrate that to them. We can't force them or judge them. That's not God's work. God's work. Oh, let me finish what Emily Cady says. It says, if your loved one seems to be going all wrong, saying nothing at all, say nothing at all. Keep your own light lifted up by living in the victorious life of spirit. Everybody can relax now. I don't need to worry. God's taking care of our kids, our grandkids. And we get to demonstrate how well God has taken care of us. We do. And we get to live in that and be that and trust in it. That's the important part, trusting in that. And yeah, it's real easy to feel that anxiety in today's society and changes and shifting of so many things going on. But remember, that's in our head. We get to drop down into our heart, into our Christ light, and feel it and know it. Oh, this is why I'm up here. Okay. It is evident in Galatians 2 that no one can find acceptance with God simply by obeying the law, because for the righteous shall live by faith. What is that? Well, maybe somebody broke the law that you know. Maybe laws are broken. Maybe you ran a red light. Maybe it was something other than that. But the law is not above faith. Jesus, how many of you want to avoid drama in your life these days? Okay, well, I got news for you. Let's change the word drama to story. How many of you want to avoid stories? We all have them. Our loved ones have stories. They're going to tell it in their truth. We get to be leaders and guide an alignment of the words, thoughts, and actions. We get to be leaders and demonstrate that Christ's light in that. It's real easy. I could avoid all of my family members because there's a lot of drama. Well, I tend to try to make them comedies at this point. See? It makes it a lot lighter, right? But what is your part in it? What part do you get to play in that drama or that story or that comedy or that tragedy? Where do you show up? Are we going to avoid it and say, oh, I'm going the other way? I don't want to look. It's not pretty. No, more than ever, what our kids and what so many people in this world are enduring are a lot of hardships. So we get to show up. And sometimes we have to have those difficult conversations. We don't want to. My life is good. God is good in my life. I love God. God is taking care of me. Yes, but we know that God is everywhere, and God is surrounding all the people in our lives, all of our loved ones, even the ones who are having dramas or tragedies or stories, whatever we want to call them. We can name it whatever we want. But the righteous shall live by faith. It's above the law. Here's another one. In Ephesians, for by grace you have been saved through faith. And this is not your own doing. This is a gift of God. Powerful. And that faith has carried us so far. And maybe our loved ones don't want to hear about it yet. But you get to show up as that light. And that's what we can do. And that is powerful. Being and walking in that light. Here's another one. Corinthians says, we walk by faith, not by sight. Right? That's why, I don't want to look. Right? We walk by faith, not by sight. I'm like, really? What did you pierce? Why? No. So there's nothing wrong with the changes that are happening in our society. They are happening. We get to demonstrate. Did Jesus wash the feet of Judas? Yeah. And Judas betrayed him. Judas was jealous and envious and betrayed Jesus. He took his higher self, got out of the way, allowed God to come in and work through him, and let that go. Whew. How many Judases do we have in our lives? that maybe we didn't want to face, or maybe we said they were stronger than us. Well, Jesus stepped into his highest self and said, I know I have the Christ light, and I know that absence of Christ light is not going to win. Doesn't have a choice. Here's another one. Psalms, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. And tell me when am I good? Oh, I might be. So here we go. God knows your heart. Speak it, practice it, and live it. And I could keep talking all day long about God's truth. So I want to thank you all. And if you haven't read Emily Katie's Lesson in Truth, I highly recommend it. It's beautiful. So thank you. It's been a pleasure. I went good.
We've now come to the time in our service for our offertory. We ask those of you that are here for the first time and visitors to please not put anything in the basket. We want you to be our guests today. Thank you. So if everyone will join me in our offertory prayer. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. We'd now like to say our offertory blessing again, but this time replacing the words I and me with us and we. Divine love, as us, blesses and multiplies all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive, and we are grateful. Now I'd like people that are here for the first time, they have green name tags on, stand up. We'd like to offer you a blessing. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ as you. So, we're going to have a little update on batteries. Is Kathy here? Oh, good. So, the people that we have up in Ocala that have been allowing us to bring batteries, that they're not charging us. So, we have kept hundreds of pounds of batteries out of the landfills. Yes, thank you. Kathy has decided or asked Reverend Moe whether we couldn't expand it just a little bit, and rather than just us, that we get out into our neighborhoods. she's going to talk about that. What I would like to tell you is right now what we're looking for is only alkaline batteries that you have at home. That's anything below a 9 volt. So the 9 volt squares, the A, AA, AAA, C, hearing aids, and watch batteries. Please do not tape them and also keep them out of packages. They've been coming in, and we have to help the people that are recycling to keep their costs down so that they're not paying someone to unpackage these things. Now, if you're talking about the little hearing aid batteries, if you want to put those in a Ziploc bag to bring them so that they're not going all over, that's fine. But otherwise, please, no tape and no packaging.
Hi, everyone. My name's Kathy. I have a passion for this project, and we were talking about it, and we came up with the idea of expanding it, multiplying it. Every year, 3 billion batteries are thrown out just in the US, and 97% end up in landfills. So we want to change that. And today we heard about the principle of action. This is your opportunity to do action. So what we're asking is if you can put maybe a little Tupperware container on your front porch to keep the batteries dry. We had a donor donate signs. We're going to be giving them out at the back of the church on the way out as you go. And it says, "My church recycles household batteries to help the planet. Please leave yours in my container by my front door." And these are the ones that are accepted in there. The signs are free. Please take one home. We don't expect them back. Put them in your grass and see what shows up in your little Tupperware container, okay? And bring them to church, all right? I think we can make a difference that way. And secondly, it has a second purpose, because your neighbors are going to say, "What? What church collects batteries?" And maybe that dog walker that's going past your house is going to ask you what church you go to, and you can say Unity Spiritual Center, and maybe we grow our congregation a little bit. All right? Anything to add to that? We'd like the Tupperware because it keeps the batteries dry if you can, but a basket would do just fine as well. You have a question?
Yes, has anyone verified with the villages to see if he's allowed to put signs up?
Technically, no, but look at Dean's Services and what they do with their landscaping, and they make a little sign, so that's why we made the signs little. I would suggest what I'm doing at my house is I put it out for 2 days, I bring it in for 1. I put it out for 1, I bring it in for 2. So it's not annoying my neighbors too much, you know? And if somebody takes it away and steals it from you, nobody here is going to be upset. It may happen, but let's give it a try. That's what we say. Yes? Yes, and during the elections, I put a sign in my glass window that faces the street, so it was inside my house. That's allowed. Okay?
Yeah. Great. Thanks, Kathy. That's called initiative, right? So if you are taking a sign home and collecting batteries, again, no tape and no packaging, and if you'll bring them in small boxes, I would appreciate that. Anything less than 20 pounds. So a box like that size. Yes?
I just want to caution people, be careful with 9-volt batteries because you have 2 terminals on top. If they touch metal, they can arc, it's going to fire.
I double-checked on that one. I've heard the same thing. He said as long as they're expired batteries, there really is no chance of that. Yeah. So, well, other than 9-volt batteries, then please no tape. Thank you.
Good morning. I know we're past time, but I just really quickly wanted to let everyone know that the Spirit Groups had started this last week. We had ended up with 4 groups that have started. I know the one that I'm involved with had a really great group, and I've heard from other people the other groups are great groups as well. So if you, I wanted to mention that Revmo normally during these 3 weeks, she would be doing talks about what the Spirit Group and the book that we're using, and obviously she's not here, so those are on YouTube, on the YouTube channel. So anyone, even if you're not involved in the Spirit Groups, that you can go online, go on the YouTube channel and follow along with the videos because they are helpful in anyone's life, and it presents 3 questions at the end of each video. And if you are in a Spirit Group, you're asked to watch those videos before you come to in each next week. So anyway, that's a little update on the spirit groups. Thanks.
All right. Check, check, check. Let's stand and do our Let There Be Peace on Earth. I'm really looking forward to Tuesday, and I just want to let you know, if you didn't hear me say this last week, it's storytelling, but most of it's going to be dancing. So we're going to set up this area in here so that if you want to dance, you can dance. So just want to let you know, I look forward to it. I'm really excited. Let's go for this. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment, peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. I am the light of God that surrounds us. I am the love of God that enfolds us. I am the power of God that protects us. I am the presence of God that watches over us. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Have a blessed day, everyone.